Hey kids, it's day 210 of a screenwriter's journey. Um, so yesterday we left off February 28th, the last day of February, with not a leap year. Sorry. I asked all these questions and I was saying that's usually a sign that either I'm on a roll or I'm going to run into trouble and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So and now this thing that I have that I'm doing just this pretend fake dialogue just to see how it would go of the idea of Lexi being adopted by Holly, or more precisely or concisely, somewhere in this 12 years, I'm wondering, and I've wondered this before, I guess I've never written a dialogue of, has Holly considered adopting Lexi? Obviously, way back in the first version, she basically raised her. She literally raised her as sort of the aunt that she really wasn't. She never really adopted her. And so I'm wondering on paper there how that dialogue would go. Would that be something that would happen in the third act as opposed to right off the bat, early in Act 1, like page 10, 11, 12, something like that? Would it be like the all is lost moment, the really depressing moment? Would it be a conversation they have, if they had it, when would they have it, of course, and then what would happen? So now I've jumped back to page 79, so about 10 or 12 pages back. And so Ace there is trying to get Hogan sort of to, psychologically. I do kind of like that dialogue between the three of them, but does it belong anywhere, let alone here? I don't know. So now, probably, see, again, at 5 times, it's hard to tell exactly what I'm thinking, but it may have been that somewhere in all those questions and statements I wrote at the end of day 209 yesterday, I realized that something has to change here. So now, so now we've got kind of a mini shootout here on page 80, which is kind of the end-ish of Act 2, if you're going by the Save the Cat. And I had that discussion a few days ago, so I won't repeat it. But I bet if you, it'd be super interesting, look at movies that include shootouts of some sort and then see where those shootouts occur. Obviously, Act 3 is going to be the big one. If it's a movie where it's got like a sting at the beginning, like a James Bond, there could be a shootout early on. Thinking of GoldenEye. Remember that famous scene that opened in the dam where, I don't know if it was the Hoover Dam or where that was, but that classic opening when he shot all those people and then escaped. That was a really cool opening. But I doubt you would find too many shootouts at this part of the movie because, after you have a shootout and a showdown, then the movie ends unless it kicks off and you're going to have some unconventional thing. So I don't know. That obviously I wasn't thinking about that at the time. And so you've got the kind of the shootout there, and then you've got Rachel shooting and Jake getting injured. All right, let's see. So I didn't really change that too much. So in this case, Rachel's still lying to Lexi. And it's always good when you can get rid of dialogue, especially when there's so much. So, as I was saying, based on something I wrote the other day, I've obviously gone back and realized that I need to fix/change something. And I don't like Q&A. Gosh, I see so many, especially TV shows, especially TV shows, the procedurals with it's just like question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, or it's just three people basically divvying up the dialogue and giving a bunch of exposition. Oh, I see that the killer used to da da da, and he spent time in jail doing this, and when he got out, da da da. It's kind of the poor man's way to tell a story, and obviously, having said that, I've got a lot of dialogue in here, but hopefully, it's doing something more than just. I mean, it is pushing the story along, but it's telling us something about their characters. Although, of course, I say you can't always have that happen. It would be, again, interesting to read any script that is considered like a top 10 script in history and see how the writer accomplishes that. And if he or she does accomplish that, aka is character always being revealed and that sort of thing. And I could analyze this script and see how I'm doing along those lines. I just remembered I need to contact the theater drama teacher at the school down the street to see if they can do a table read of this. We talked about doing it, and now that it's middle of May, school's almost over. Yikes, I need to get a hold of her because I saw they've got some sandwich boards up. They're doing some play right now. So maybe this would be a good way to end the year. Otherwise, if you know anyone who wants to do a table read, let me know. All right. Of course, I would have to have a script in good enough shape that they could do that. Where are we here? So Jake is still shot, and this may sting a little. I have a line almost just like that in the key. I think the line in that this isn't going to tickle or something. It's obviously hard to come up with lines when you've seen a variation of a scene 100 times or 1,000 times. And so maybe you just don't do any, you don't have any dialogue. That's probably even a worse line than I had before. Everyone say a prayer. As if the couple would even know what's going on. All right, so I talked about starting a scene right in the middle. I think she's been playing this all along. You said I'm going to be very manipulative. So, of course, it's interesting, and I don't know if it's the case in this variation of the script. I think it's pretty close that everything Rachel says about Holly is true about herself. And obviously that's a purposeful thing I've done. And the other thing is, and it may not be in this version, but my thought process is that since Rachel is such a narcissistic psychopath, or psychologically narcissistic, or however you want to say it, it's all about me, me, me. So I think I've started to make a point where she uses the word I in almost all her dialogue. Or what she said is purely meant to manipulate the other person. Like you said it yourself, Holly can be very manipulative. So she's planting that seed, even though Lexi maybe hasn't said exactly that. Rachel is making her think that she said it. Told him to leave it. And then, of course, there's the question of would Lexi really care how they're getting out of here? And does the audience care? And so there we have a line of dialogue to explain it, but is it necessary? Probably not. Ooh, guess what? I think I just found out where it tells me where it do. I just found the end point. So I've got 2 minutes, a minute and a half left for today. Learn something new every day. Thank you, DaVinci Resolve. You're free for the basic version. pretty robust software. I can certainly handle adding voiceover to a screen recording. The problem is that I've had, I mean, literally, oh, I could say that I've had this problem maybe for 100 days of writing on and off, is that I just keep trying stuff, and out of 100 things I try, maybe 6 of them work. And I told someone, I think one of my sons, that I've written one of the parts for, that this is a classic example of how not to write a script. So you're welcome for that master class in how not to write a script. And mostly it is born out of not, when I started rewriting, not buckling down and really beating it out and thinking it out. But the day is about over, so hang in there. See ya. Bye.